So in this video, I'm going to be talking about streaming. So first I'll talk about ways that we used to listen to music. Talk about digital downloads, then the pros and cons of what I think will happen in the future of streaming. I'm also going to mention that I know physical media is an important thing. I'm going to do another video on CDs and vinyl later in the future. But in this video, I just want to focus on streaming because it is something that is very important as well. So back in the late 80s, I used to listen to a lot of metal music. It was a time when I was a teenager. I was first getting into music. And if I wanted to learn about new bands, I didn't really have a lot of options. I had MTV. They played music on Saturday nights on Headbangers Ball. I was lucky enough to have a local radio station that played metal music on the weekends. And it was like one of those like small college radio stations. So I was fortunate to have that. I know not everywhere in the U.S. had that, back in the day. So I discovered a lot of new bands there. And then there were like magazines you can buy, word of mouth. When I was in high school, people would be talking about these different bands. So for example, I actually learned about Metallica and Iron Maiden just, through my friends in high school talking about it. And when I bought those first albums, I had never listened to any song from either of those bands, but I just went out and bought albums, and I enjoyed the music. So those were the old days. Now things are different today. So moving into the late 90s, the internet's a little more prevalent. More people have that internet, and more people have computers, and there was the issue of digital downloads, which led to a lot of piracy and file sharing. So back then people used Napster, and I know Lars Ulrich tried to go against Napster, and that was a big deal. I think that was after one Metallica song leaked on the internet, and I think that's what spurred it all. But nowadays, internet is a lot faster, computers are faster, we all have smartphones, and file sharing is just very easy. So in order to combat that problem, I think they created these subscription services for streaming. And I think that was kind of a way to solve the illegal downloading problem. Back in the 2000s, I used to download a lot of music from iTunes, and you can buy them for $1 a piece, and then I would burn them to these CDs. So for example, I still have one of my old ones, and this is right here. So it's pretty cool. You can kind of make your own personal compilation album. It was Weezer, Beverly Hills, Foo Fighters, In Your Honor, Audioslave, Be Yourself, System of a Down, BYOB, and Cigarro, Korn, Word Up, White Stripes, Blue Orchard, Molotov, Frijolero, and Queens of the Stone Age, Little Sister. Now, these are all songs that I bought for $1 each. So this is pretty much a digital album that I own, but I could download it and burn it onto a CD-R. I think that's something that you can't do anymore, or at least with the big services. I'm not really sure, but I don't think you can do that with iTunes anymore. I don't even think iTunes really exists. I don't use Apple. I'm not really sure. You can let me know in the comments. But back then I used this old system on AOL.com. I think it was called Rhapsody, where you can download songs to your computer, but you couldn't didn't have access to the file. So that was that. And then back when I lived in the US in the 2000s, I used Pandora, and that was the first time when you can create these radio stations based on an artist, and a lot of the streaming services use that model now. So when I first got into streaming was around 2015. Now I had Google Play Music. That was a service that let you listen to anything you wanted if you paid the premium fee. If you didn't pay the premium fee, you could only listen to these 30-second excerpts, I believe, if I remember correctly. That was a good service. I actually bought a few albums, from that service, and I downloaded them. They're on my computer, and I was able to burn them to CDs or transfer them to a little USB device, or do whatever I want with them, because I owned those albums because I bought them digitally. But now Google Play Music converted to YouTube Music, and they say they let you transfer your library to YouTube Music. But the thing is, all those albums that I bought, now I can download them, but I can only listen to them on the app. Like I don't have access to those files anymore. Or at least I don't think I do, or I don't know if there's a way I can recuperate them. But as far as I know, Google Play Music doesn't exist anymore, and YouTube Music is what took over. So YouTube Music is what I use now. You know, since I am a music channel, I do a lot of new releases, and I do pay the subscription service for YouTube or other services such as like Spotify, which everyone uses. Now I have that on my phone. I have a Spotify account, but I don't pay the premium service. I just use the free version. So, which is kind of good. So if I'm on a desktop, I can listen to an album, any album I want. But if I'm on phone, like they kind of force you to like listen to things in shuffle mode. So me as a music reviewer, it's kind of hard for me to listen to albums on Spotify if I'm listening to them like 3 times in a row and I want to do a review. It's hard to use Spotify, so that's why I use the YouTube Music for this. Now with Spotify, it's sometimes they do have these exclusive albums that I don't find on YouTube Music. So for example, the latest like Joe Satriani album, I couldn't find that on YouTube Music. And but it was on Spotify, so I did have to listen to that album on Spotify. But like I said, I tried to listen to it on my phone, but it kept like shuffling and playing some of his older stuff in between the songs, and that got annoying. So I was able to listen to it on my desktop. Another service I just actually downloaded last night called Amazon Music, because I am a Prime subscriber, and I was able to use the basic version of that, which is very limited as far as albums, because they have like a lot of like the old music, but you can't listen to new music because they have certain albums that are just for like the unlimited version and certain albums that are just for, you know, the basic or the Prime version. A positive note on Amazon Music is that the sound quality was like very good. I think it was the best out of all the services I have used, and that was good. So Amazon Music is something I will actually keep this on my phone now. It's good to listen to like old albums. So they had all the old Pink Floyds, all the old Doors albums. So for older albums, it's good. But if you want to listen to new stuff or any other types of like new releases or any types of like special reissues, you have to get the unlimited for Amazon. I know Apple Music, but I don't really use Apple products anymore. I used to. So that one I don't know much about. You can talk about that in the comments section. Another negative with streaming is that there are some albums that you just cannot find. So, for example, if you want to listen to those old Pantera, those Glamterra albums, the only place to find those is on YouTube, and those are like these like unofficial downloads or unofficial uploads. I mean, that people have you know, put on YouTube themselves, and they're probably not really the great quality. So there's that. Also, Tesla's Great Radio Controversy. I bought that album when I was younger. I used to own a copy of it, but I lost it over the years. I've been looking for it on streaming services, and it's kind of like impossible to find like anywhere. I can't even find it on YouTube. Like I think they like block it every time if someone tries to upload it. So that's a negative of streaming. There are some albums that are just really impossible to find on streaming services. So it's also good if you want to learn new music. Streaming is the best option because, you know, not everybody has metal radio. They don't play a lot of new music, and you know, it's just a really great way to learn about new artists. So that's a positive of it. That is, you know, you don't own the music, so it can change at any point. So that's really the main point, and the point of this video is like, how long is this going to last? I mean, they can take it away whenever they want. They probably won't because it's kind of like too big at this point, and I don't think, but they might like modify it. Now, what I'm thinking is that it might be something like with those like movie and TV streaming services, you know, the Netflix, HBO Max, Prime Video, those types of things. So, for example, I used to watch the TV show Friends on Netflix, but then that moved to HBO Max, which is not a problem for me because, you know, I subscribe to both services, but it gets to a point now, if you want to like be able to watch all these different programs, you have to subscribe to 3 or 4 of those services, you know, HBO Max, Prime Video, Netflix. If you live in the US, there's Hulu. I don't have that where I live in Mexico. See, my concern is that streaming might go that route where Some artists are on one site, some artists are on another site. You know, for example, Neil Young, he pulled off Spotify, but you can listen to him on YouTube. Now, are artists going to be pulling off certain platforms and going strictly to just one particular platform, where if you want to be able to have access to like everything, you have to subscribe to like 3 or 4 services? So that might be the future, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. That is all. I'm going to end this video here. I will be doing a video on like CDs versus vinyl and the benefits and pros and cons of physical media. So if that's something you're interested, please subscribe, and I'll probably do that one maybe next week. So that's all. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.